Hi everybody, welcome to Mind Prosperity. This is our first video for the year and happy 2024. We do believe that this is going to be an amazing year for all of you. And today I'm speaking about healing childhood trauma. You know, a lot of times when we cannot go forward in life, and actually I've done a lot of research on this through the month of December, and a lot of times people struggle to go forward in their lives because of childhood trauma. And I wrote this whole new booklet and this training material on healing childhood trauma. So if you guys want to do a course like this with me, please send me a WhatsApp on 072-508-4689. This season I'm going to teach and train on healing childhood trauma, or you can send me an email at albert@mindprosperity.co.za if you are interested in doing this course with me. I'm going to do this course on Zoom or on Teams, so wherever you are in South Africa. This is a 4-week course that I'm doing, and we can speak about the times. And yeah, so I'm doing it individually with people as well. So if you are interested in this course, please let me know. So healing childhood trauma, and the first question I want to answer is, what is childhood trauma? A lot of people think childhood trauma is when I got really beaten up or when there's extreme psychological manipulation. And yes, there are extreme cases which causes childhood trauma, but sometimes small things can also cause childhood trauma. Things like I was not allowed as a child to express my emotions. I was not allowed as a child to feel. I was not allowed as a child to state my opinion. And that might have caused trauma that is still with you as an adult. And that's causing you to struggle to go forward. So childhood trauma is not always like this huge, big thing. It can be small things that happened that has a huge influence on how you are living today. So they say that the first 6 years of your life shapes your subconscious mind or your habitual mind. So the first 6 years of your life really shapes you. And if you don't rewire your subconscious mind and retrain your habit, you can be, you know, whatever age, but you're still stuck in what happened the first 6 years of your life. If you felt like you couldn't express your emotions the first few years of your life, maybe still today you feel guilty and ashamed for expressing your emotions or expressing your feeling. If you felt like you couldn't have been your authentic self in your first 6 years, today you will still struggle to be your authentic self. And, you know, in this course, we're speaking about how to receive healing. So Gary John Bishop said, you live your adult life as a reflection of your childhood or in reaction to it. So a lot of what you are going through as an adult, a lot of the things that you are dealing with as an adult is because of what happened to you as a child. And this doesn't just mean, you know, what happened in your parents' house. It can be, but it can also be what happened at school, what happened in your hostel, what happened with your friends, what happened with your caregivers. It can be any environment that you've been in as a young child. So a lot of people might say, yes, but I had good parents. Yes, but maybe your childhood trauma didn't come from your parents. Maybe it came from other caretakers. Maybe it came from school. Maybe it came from preschool. Maybe it came from, you know, a sports team you've been involved in. Ed Milet said, it is not the events of our life that define us, but the meaning we attach to it. As little children, we attach meanings to every single event. And remember, a little child cannot distinguish between what is right and wrong. Everything for them is, you know, right, because the subconscious mind is open. So anything that gets placed into the subconscious mind is received and believed by the little child. So even if bad things happen for a little child, that will be their normal. And that is why when they're in their adult life, toxic environments where they feel they cannot be themselves, environments where they feel they cannot express their emotions, feels normal to them. And the body goes to what is normal. The body goes to what feels familiar. And that is why if we want to heal our lives, if we want to heal our mindset and emotions in this area, we have to go look at what happened to me when I was a child. Was I heard? Was I loved? Was I allowed to be myself? So why does this have an effect in our lives? So number one, you trusted someone. So remember, as a child, you kind of have like this instinct to just trust the environment that you are in. So even if people mistreated you, You believe that was the right thing. Then it's the second thing when you realize that, you know what, maybe I wasn't handled well, maybe I wasn't heard, maybe I wasn't loved the way I should have been loved, maybe I was made fun of by my friends, maybe my teachers spoke negatively about me, maybe my parents didn't allow me to feel my emotions. And at that moment it felt right, and I trusted that it was right. But now that I realized that it was wrong, trust is broken. And then number 3, you feel like your strength has left you. And this can go over to people pleasing, because now you don't feel like you're in charge of your own life anymore. You don't feel like you have strength for yourself, and you start to depend on other people the whole time to make you feel good. This is what they call codependency, and you get to a place where you want to play savior the whole time because of your need for approval from other people, which brings us to number 4. You do not have your own vision anymore. So now you're depending on other people to give you vision. You're depending on other people to give you direction for your life, because that is what happened to you as a young child. You were never allowed to feel your own emotions. You were never allowed to feel your own feelings. You were always taught like your feelings, your opinion doesn't matter. And now you have this need to please other people the whole time. So we're going to look in this, and in the training material, I spend a lot of time on the Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis, and this is where a lot of psychology actually started, and where a lot of psychology actually got birthed from. And Sigmund Freud spoke about the importance of your young life and how it shaped the person that you are today. So we're going to look at that. Before we look at that, I want to encourage you to like this video, to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so that you can get notifications. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're just over halfway there, and your subscription can help us to get there. And also, if you believe this video can help other people, or if you believe there are people that might be interested in this course that we are doing, please send this video on. So Sigmund Freud said, the state in which ideas existed before being made conscious is called by us repression. So all of a sudden you have this awareness of what happened, but it was always there. It was just repressed or suppressed. So what are we doing in this course of healing childhood trauma? We just try to bring out things that has been buried beneath. Now, if you go into people-pleasing mode, you just want to feel safe when people agree with you, when people are nice to you. But I want to say this: if you really want to be your authentic self, if you really want to be the person that you believe you are created to be, it might upset a lot of people. And if you always need the thumbs up from other people, if you always need other people to agree with you, to like you, you cannot be healed in this area, because you're always going to depend on other people to reaffirm you, to confirm you. But if you really want healing in this area, you have to be okay with the fact that not everybody is going to like you, not everybody is going to agree with you. So in 2024, I want to encourage you to surround yourself with the right people. Now, how do you know who the right people are? You have a I am, the person you are, the person you were created to be. You have a I must, your calling, your purpose, what you were created to do. So you want to surround yourself with people that energize and brings out the I am, the authentic you, and helps you with your I must, your purpose and your calling. So there are some people who it feels like they are sucking the energy out of you, and you cannot operate in your authentic I am, and you cannot accomplish your I must or your purpose or your calling. So you want to surround yourself with people who brings out the best in you and encourages you to fulfill your calling and your purpose. So what did this theory of Sigmund Freud said? He spoke about the id, the ego, and the superego. So the id, and we display this by an iceberg. So you will see the iceberg on the screen, and you will see the id is underneath the iceberg, and a lot of it is unconscious. You're not conscious of it. The ego is above the iceberg, and it's what you are conscious of. The superego is in between the two. Some of it you are conscious of, and some of it you are unconscious of. So what people can see about you, or what you can see about your life, is just that part of the iceberg. But the things that causes it underneath the water is much bigger. So the things that you cannot see that causes things to happen in your life is much bigger than the things that you can see. And that's why we have to go look underneath the surface to go figure out what needs to be healed and where do we want to go. So the id, Sigmund Freud spoke about, and that's the first part when you grow up, and the id is there when you are born. It is there immediately, and he calls it the I want. And the traits of the id are your engines of desire, your impulses, your drive, and pleasure seeking. So this is what I want. And the id says, I want it no matter how I get it. This is why you will see a little child will scream, they will yell, they will throw tantrums if they want something, because I want it and I want it now. Pleasure seeking, desire seeking. And then you get your superego, the I should. And the traits of the superego is strive to act in a socially acceptable manner. If you don't act in a socially acceptable manner, you have guilt, shame, and inadequacy. It's the internalized voice of authority from parents and society. So the superego develops as you grow up, where people tell you should be this, you shouldn't be this is okay, this is not okay, you may do this, you may not do this. This is why he calls the superego the I should. Now the ego is the mediator between the two, and Sigmund Freud said the ego is where we want to live. Now the ego that he's speaking about today is not in a negative sense on how we see the ego today. The ego Sigmund Freud spoke about, and remember this was the 1800s, so it was long ago, and he spoke about the ego is the mediator between the two, where you bring a balance between the id and the superego, and that's where you want to be, meaning you want to bring a balance between the I want and the I should, meaning it's okay to fulfill your desires as long as it is in a socially acceptable way. So what happens when we have childhood trauma? Your id gets suppressed. My wants, my needs, my desires is not important anymore. You start to live in the superego. When you live in the superego, that means I don't care about myself. I don't care about my needs. I just want to please society. So what happens then is every single time you have a desire, there's anxiety. So somebody who has a suppressed id has a lot of anxiety, and as soon as they please the id, they have shame and guilt. So they have the shame and guilt of taking care of themselves, because they kind of believe like their needs are not important. It's only the needs of the society that's important. And this is why a lot of people who has childhood trauma goes into people pleasing. A lot of people can also go into narcissism. That's where they only satisfy the id, and they don't care about what society says. So they fulfill their needs and they fulfill their desires in a socially unacceptable and immoral way, and that's also not okay. But today we're speaking about the id, and I wanna give you a few points at what happens when the id is not satisfied. When the id is not satisfied, remember that's the part where my wants, my needs, my desires is not important, so I bury it deep beneath, and I don't take care of my own needs and wants and desires. You get anxiety, you get tension, and it can cause depression when the id is not satisfied. It can cause you to struggle to manage your emotions. So you feel emotions, but you cannot manage it, and you're kind of like in this emotional roller coaster the whole time. Avoidance and denial, shielding from emotional pain. So it's kind of like you're very distant, very very protective, and you're shielding yourself. You are. It's not like boundaries. It's like walls, and you're not allowing anybody in. But you're still in a very kind of like a people pleasing mode. You're struggling to form healthy attachments because the id is not satisfied. It's difficult to bring the authentic you out and attach to somebody. So attachment is very difficult. Low self-esteem, feelings of inadequacy. So in order to heal that part, in order to heal the id part, it takes a lot of delving deep into what needs of mine has not been satisfied, what needs of mine has not been taken care of. And then you have to deal with this anxiety, feelings of guilt, feelings of shame. People like this are very hard on themselves. And what is the answer to this? The answer is self-love and self-care. Identifying who you are, knowing who you are. And also, a lot of times you have to go back at your younger self, at your little life, and say, you know, the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year old me, I have to go love that person, and I have to go tell that person your wants, your needs, and your desires are okay. And still today, when you look at yourself, your wants, your needs, and your desires are okay. If you have wants, needs, and desires, it doesn't mean you're selfish, doesn't mean you're a bad person. But also now, it's also important to go say, listen, I do want to fulfill my own needs and desires in a socially acceptable and moral way, because I don't want to hurt other people in the process. So to be healthy is to get to that place where you say, I have a healthy self-love, I have a healthy love for others, I want my needs to be satisfied, but I don't want to hurt others in the process. That's when you get to a place where you are healthy. It takes a lot of self-love, and it takes a lot of self-care. And I do believe, you know, if you want to have a great 2024, and I always say this, your life doesn't change by the renewal of the clock. Your life changes by the renewal of the mind and the renewal of the emotions. So I want to encourage you, if you feel this is for you, I want to encourage you to go into self-love, into self-care, and to know your needs, your emotions, your wants, and your desires are okay. They are important. And there's an acceptable and a right way to make sure your needs and your desires are satisfied. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you guys are interested in doing this course with me, please send me a WhatsApp or an email. I'm just going to put the WhatsApp and the email on the screen again, so you guys can make contact with me. We are so excited about this year, and we are so excited for so many things that we're going to do this year in Mind Prosperity, and we are so excited to have you guys be a part of it. We'll see you soon, and we love you. Goodbye.